So how is the world reacting to what is happening in Ayodhya? Well, from Russia, China, Turkey to Pakistan and the Western nations, almost everybody seems so keen to react to or comment on India's newly constructed Ram Mandir. Of course, there are some who seem happy, but then there are others who are extremely jealous or upset. Alright, let me make this clear. There are quite a few positive comments and messages from around the world as well. So let's quickly go through the positive side first. As reported here, Taiwan's minister Joseph Wu congratulated Indians on the inauguration of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. According to him, the world is divided into two types of people, those who are going to fall in love with India and those who already have. Then this politician from New Zealand congratulated everyone in India, including PM Modi. This Russian media outlet posted that the Ram Mandir is a temple with cultural, political and spiritual significance and will now become a world center for Hinduism. Now pay close attention. Amy Mack posted this about Ram Mandir. Congratulations India. This temple represents a symbol of reawakening for Hindus worldwide, as it endured violence and destruction by past Muslim invaders. But Indians should be careful here. Some of those comments could be coming from people who are not interested in justice, but have their own political interest or even hatred for their political or religious opponents. Otherwise, I want to know if Amy Mack has properly criticized the radicalized Christian groups in the USA who have been working for the task of the total evangelization of the world and are working to Christianize India. So Indians, remember, many of them could be politically motivated people with their own political interest. They are not here for justice and they are not your genuine friends. They will betray you when the time comes. Now let's explore what seems to be more negative. First, China. One should understand that in order to become a global superpower, in many ways China has learned or absorbed the dirty geopolitical tricks from the Western colonial criminal states. For example, while China is against radicalized Muslims inside its borders, outside China it frequently collaborates with those who shelter them. Yes, this is what they describe as the China-Islamist nexus and how it can be used to destabilize India, whether it is the Maldives, Bangladesh or Pakistan. That is why there is no surprise that the state-affiliated Chinese media outlet posts articles such as these. Nationalism trumps liberalism in Modi's India. I mean, since when have you, the Chinese, been concerned about liberalism? And of course, as expected, various Pakistani media outlets and the Pakistani government have probably done all they could to brainwash their own people about the history of Ram Mandir. Now see this. This is what France 24 posted. Deutsche Welle posted this. Time posted this. This Turkish media outlet posted this. Associated Press, The Guardian, The New York Times, The Washington Post. I mean, why choose such headlines? All this seems so deceitful. Why don't they show genuine intentions to properly explain what KK Mohammed explains? Or do they just want to radicalize their readers against Hindus and Hinduism? And what kind of propaganda is this by the Washington Times? And by the way, take a look. The Washington Times has a long record of publishing anti-India propaganda. I mean, from what I can see here, a lot of it appears to be very anti-Indian. Unfortunately, many people in the West just read such articles and twist their opinions. And many readers have no idea whose money is behind these Western media outlets. For example, let's try to understand whose money is behind this American newspaper. Take a look. Sun Myung Moon financed the creation of The Times. Who was Sun Myung Moon? A self-professed messiah from South Korea, the co-founder of the Unification Church. So basically, a church-owned media outlet decided to explain to the world what India and Hindus are. As I have explained previously, there is the church-owned America's so-called free press. So listen carefully. No matter how hard you try to deceitfully malign India's image, the truth is that it is the Western civilization who is the mother of Nazism and fascism. And it was Hindus and others from India who came to Europe during the world wars to save Europeans from their own Nazism and fascism. Yes, Hindu soldiers sacrificed their lives to save you from your own Nazism. So are these newspapers trying to radicalize or provoke Indian Muslims to cause riots and chaos in India? Do they want Hindus and Muslims to fight in India? Do they want to weaken India by creating unrest? The bitter truth is that many in Western society are not Muslims' true well-wishers. Many Western nations have very discriminatory policies against Muslims. Besides that, how can we forget that multiple Western nations have a track record of butchering innocent Muslim civilians by bombing their countries? Western colonial criminal states, do you really care about Muslims' feelings? Then why not talk properly about Muslims who seem happy with Hindus or about the Ram Mandir? Why ignore their voices? Why ignore this? And this? And this? And these ones? In many ways, India is at least as liberal, if not more, than the so-called liberal Western democracies. When the so-called liberal leaders of the Western democracies participate in Christian celebrations, why don't they label those leaders as Christian nationalists? When India's Prime Minister participates in Hindu celebrations, it is wrong according to you, but when he participates in Christian celebrations, what happens then? Do you also criticize that the same way? It has been observed that Islam and Christianity have a lot in common. Experts say that they have common roots. Experts also say that both are against what they describe as idol worshipping. Just because of their unique ways of worship, Hindus are labeled by many as infidels, heathens, demonic, and Hindu gods are labeled as false gods. Islam and Christianity may disagree on various grounds, but when it comes to Hindus, they have a lot of common ground. But by this media propaganda, in a way, the media outlets of the Western colonial criminal states are just ridiculizing their own people against the ancient dharmic culture that is naturally inclusive. This is a big disservice to humanity. Is it right to say that through their deceitful work, they are creating lynching-friendly or xenophobic anti-Hindu and anti-India environments in their own countries? The USA shouldn't forget that it has a track record of hunting Hindus. Remember the Dotbuster attacks? Through my previous episodes, in a very comprehensive and detailed manner, I have shown that in many ways, the West's so-called liberal governments act more religiously than the so-called nationalist government of India. Not only that, Western countries are still contributing to the ongoing cultural genocide or subjugation of various non-Christian cultures in the world. I highly recommend these 5 videos. As India proudly embraces its native and diverse dharmic cultures, the Western colonial criminal states that have a long track record of genociding native cultures through their brutal Christianization are feeling disturbed. Very disturbed. As a result, the media sharks of the Western colonial criminal states have started to release more poison against India's pre-Islamic and pre-Christian traditions. But here is a commitment from me. In the next few days and in 2024, I will expose the nefarious designs of the Western media and the Western colonial criminal states in a way that has never been done before. Your dirty secrets and truth will be uncovered like never before. Colonial criminal states. Remember, this is Karolina's promise. In the meantime, watch these videos to understand what my standards are and what to expect from me. See you again.